and welcome to Autocar Professional. Tata Motors has just achieved a very amazing feat of getting 5 stars for Tata Harrier and Tata Safari, 5-star Global NCAP crash rating. It is amazing because they have not just done this as a 5-star level, but also when you look at the numbers, they have achieved the best figures in terms of that they got in the crash test, the best figures till now by any Indian manufacturer. So on this topic, I have Mr. Mohan Savarkar with me to talk about in detail how it was achieved and what is the way forward. Mr. Savarkar, thank you so much for taking time out for us. The first question that I have is that let's first understand which variant was chosen to test the Tata Harrier and Tata Safari in both the cars.
Yeah, so we had wanted to test both the cars together. And that is how the discussions with GNCAP took place. And the way that GNCAP goes about it is they will ask us for the whole brochure, and then they will select the cars that they feel are the most vulnerable or need testing to confirm to themselves. And then based on that, GNCAP team comes to the plant, selects cars, also seals the cars, and notes down things like mileage and so on. Actually, things like bonnet are sealed. And then the cars are shipped there. Then a lot of tests are done by them at their place.
Interesting. So how long is this process?
So it, from discussion to final thing, it may be around 3 months.
Okay. Did you have to make any changes in the way the earlier Harrier and Safari were to the facelift one in terms of structure that they hold?
Oh yes, we have to do. And part of the reason is also because the GNCAP 22 norms are very different from the earlier norms. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the things that we had to do, for example, was to make the structure stable. We have added a lot of high strength steel, which is steel that is, let's say, 600 megapascals and above, and also hot stamp steel, which is about 1000 megapascals and above. At various places in the car to strengthen something called the load path. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the load path needs to be managed in such a way that it is able to absorb all the kinetic energy of a crash, which happens at 64 kilometers per hour with a 40% offset. Okay, so that's a lot of energy to be absorbed by the structure. And once this energy hits the car, and there is a place where this energy is absorbed, and then the rest is transmitted through something called primary load path and secondary load path. So, I mean, there's a lot of mechanics behind it. Maybe it's a deeper discussion sometime, but it's good engineering fun for that.
Yeah.
So that's how the structure got changed. Then we also had to prepare for side crash, side pole crash. We also had to prepare for the new norms of pedestrian head form and pedestrian leg form. And ESP is also an additional requirement for GNCAP 22.
Yeah. So can you give us an assessment how much extra cost you had to incur to make sure that the new facelift products meet those standards?
So the cost, of course, is quite a bit, let's say. But I mean, with Tata being so focused on safety, we don't look at this as a way of making money. So not all of it is passed on to customers. And we also have to make sure that it remains affordable for customers to buy. So we are making a very balanced call in terms of how much is passed on.
I want to understand. For Tata Motors, when you started this process of getting the cars tested by Global NCAP, it was also a very big marketing point. But it has changed the way Indian customers see vehicles. It started with Nexon, I guess, and then it has percolated down to across the product range in other companies as well. So how much importance are you giving to safety? Is there a shift in the way you approach it? Because it's clearly no longer just something that is used for marketing.
Yeah. So I mean, we have been doing it always, and all the more now that we are committed to safety of and providing safe cars for Indians. And you'll also know that the whole range of our forever new products, all of them have undergone GNCAP tests. And each of them is kind of the best in their respective segments when it got tested. And we are committed to maintaining this in the future also. As far as awareness of safety is concerned in India, it is something that's growing very fast. And we are also very happy that other OEMs are also wanting to make sure that their cars are safe. All of us put together will, I'm sure, make India a safe place to be on roads.
I want to understand what is your data telling you? Is this focus on safety still focused primarily in tier 1, tier 2 cities, or it has percolated down to tier 3 and smaller areas as well?
It is circulating everywhere. On the other hand, let's say in all areas today in India, connectivity is very good. So everyone knows what is happening and what is good and what's not so good. So we are seeing that especially knowledge on safety is very democratic and it's spreading throughout India at equal pace.
Also, with safety comes cost. Do you think the demand has enough elasticity for it to absorb the extra cost? You said that you don't pass on all the cost, but does it impact demand or no?
I don't think it does. I mean, if you have seen our own growth, let's say in the 3-4 years, so it has not come in the way at all. And it's something that we hope will carry on in the future.
I think it has helped you, in fact.
It has.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about one more question is that, making 6 airbags as standard is something that we have seen that Hyundai has just recently done. Is that something that you want to look at? I think because airbags, of course, are a very good safety measure.
So, like we have also mentioned in the past, we are focused on safety and we would want our cars to be the safest possible. But it's also, we feel not such a good idea to go at safety one piece at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we've done in case of Harrier, Safari, and Nexon, so we would want to provide the safest place on wheels, and that is how we will do this journey for our other products also over a period of time.
When you say, I want to understand what you mean when you say you don't want to do it one piece at a time. As in, you don't want to just put 6 airbags at one and take other measures as well?
Yes. Like I explained to you, when you talk about crash, there are so many things that need to happen. If the 6 airbags maybe gets you a partial amount of safety, but unless the structure supports the 6 airbags, it is not good enough. It will not ensure full safety for the passengers in it. So there has to be a way of managing all the kinetic energy that happens during a crash, whether it is front or side or wherever. And in that case, the 6 airbags, only 6 airbags, is a very partial solution.
Okay. So is there a separate thought process and costing for safety that you have envisioned? Is there a separate way of approaching safety for all your cars? I basically want to know, do you have a separate budget for safety?
Oh, in terms of R&D, oh yes, pretty sure. This is how we would want to grow, and we are making sure that the safety plan is adequately provided for in our R&D.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's move on to some other topics, and one of which is your Ranjangaon facility, which saw a fire incident some time back. Yeah.
On safety, since you asked so many questions, so
yeah,
we also need to know that safety, as seen by GNCAP, is only part of the story. So the way that we have approached safety is providing a lot of ADAS to in the first place, make an accident avoidable to the extent possible. Okay. So there is something that needs to happen before an accident takes place, which is ADAS. And let's say something needs to happen in the car during an accident. and then something needs to happen post-accident. So all of these things find place in Harrier Safari and also in Nexon.
Okay. Now let's move on to the plant. Ranjangaon facility had one incidence of fire, and that impacted the production at the facility. I want to know, has the production gone back to normal? And if it has not, then how long will it take?
So that there was a fire is a well-known thing, but I don't think it ever affected our production. So even in the month of September, we have done the highest number for Nexon, and that journey continues. So I mean, in a way, the way that we work with all our plants is extremely flexible and extremely agile, and we were able to manage whatever needed to happen to not lose numbers within all our capacities.
One thing is to manage production. The other thing is also getting back on its feet about the plant itself, and also the cost. So by when do you think that all of this will be ironed out?
I mean, even today, it's not a worry at all. We are able to manage everything that we need to do, including the Harrier Safari ramp up and supplies to market are all in good shape. We see this growing over a period of time, even more.
Okay. So what is your production utilization right now, plant utilization at both the plants? And now that you have another plant coming up, which is at Sanand, which you just bought some time back, what is the plan for that? When do you think the production will start there?
So our capacity utilization today is at an all-time high, close to 100% plus or minus. There are some in which it's also plus. So with the added plant coming in, we are of course wanting to add that extra slice to our total numbers. And we're in the process of deciding and finalizing and acting upon what kind of products to make in the new plant. And it's something that will of course get declared shortly. The production will also start shortly. So with that, we'll be adding another slice of capacity to our existing numbers.
And Safari and Harrier will continue to be at Pimpri-Chinchwad?
They continue to be made in our current plant, which is in Chikli.
Okay, Chikli, sorry. Okay. So from here on, I'm expecting you're also expecting good booking numbers from Safari and Harrier. So do you think the plants are right now capable of handling the extra load?
Yes, no problem at all. And like we've also mentioned in the past, our facilities are quite flexible and agile, and we don't find an issue to meet the additional production requirements.
Supply side issues were a problem for a long time. Till few months back, we were still hearing about semiconductor issues. Do you think all those have been resolved by now?
See, so I mean, it's not that there were no issues, but somehow our supply chain team was able to manage it better than some of the industry, and we could actually thrive even during that period. So now, of course, I mean, there are things that are happening around the world. Something in Israel, something elsewhere in Europe. So it's not that there will be no effect on us, but I'm sure we'll find ways and means to work around and not let things slacken for us.
Okay. So what are your growth targets for this year? Because you have seen exceptional growth in the last 5 years. What are your targets for this year?
I mean, we will continue on the growth path. So there's no hesitancy to say that we'll continue on that
But
path.
is the market still very buoyant? Because last 2 years it has been buoyant after the Corona pandemic slush for a bit.
So the market, I mean, you would also know that it's not uniform for every product. So at let us say the hatch and sedan level, it's not so buoyant, but in other segments it is quite buoyant. People who have products in the requisite areas are doing well even this year.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Savarkar, for taking time out and talking to us. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.